Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm really glad you made it. Today I wanted to talk to you about something that I talk about a lot, and it's about the states and the benefits that they offer us and why. And really, I'm going to kind of flip it around a little bit and talk about the value that we as veterans bring to the table to the states. We often don't think about it. What we think about is the federal government spending money on us and our services. Okay, however much money we're getting as a veteran community and all the VA things and all the different benefits that are being spent. Okay, that's federal pouring into you. Now, on the state side, each state in our union has a bucket of veterans, and we're bringing in federal dollars into each one of our states. And guess what? For the most part, we're pretty good at not saving money. So that means that we're spending the money that we're getting from the federal government in our states. The states aren't paying into us, but they're reaping the reward of this federal money. That is why the states will spend money on veteran service officers and other veteran services to help you increase your ratings or get a rating that you've never had, and try to bolster that up to get more veterans receiving this federal money. Not only are we bringing all this money into the state, whatever state you're in, we're also bringing jobs, federal jobs, through the whole VA system, whether it's VBA, the Veterans Benefits Administration jobs in our states, federal jobs, or bringing in the Healthcare Administration jobs at all the VA clinics and healthcare facilities and so forth, and all the other veteran services that are surrounding us as veterans. So we are a very positive factor for the state's ecosystem. I want to really hammer this point home with dollar figures for you. Each state, I'm going to give you the cap, the overarching totals. Then I'm going to dive into each state. And I'm going to just give, for each state, I'm just going to give the number of veterans receiving compensation and the total dollar figure for compensation. There's other monetary benefits, whether it's school or pension, but I'm going to leave those ones out because those ones aren't the biggest ones. So just know that our dollar figures are actually higher than the dollar figures that I'm going to give you. And then that's going to shine a little light for you on what kind of dollar figures are being driven into our states. So when you go to your state representatives, the legislature, whether it's assembly or senate for your state, and you're saying, hey, look, we think that military retirement pay should be not taxed. Hey, look, we think that there should be a sliding scale on property tax exemption. Maybe started at a 50% rating. Somebody who has a 50% rating gets 50% off their real estate tax. 70% gets 70% off their real estate tax. 100%, it's waived completely. And you can go in knowing that, hey, we're bringing in all this money into this state. You should do this for us because we're a positive. Otherwise, I'm going to look to another state with all my friends, right? So anyway, let's jump into it. The overall cap here for the state totals, there's 5,417,012. 5,417,012, and I'm going to round these for all the states, but I'm going to give you the real numbers for the total, for the overarching total. So 5,417,012 veterans receiving compensation at estimated monthly payout $9,338,137,439 per month. Okay, annual total of compensation for all of us, $112 billion, $57,649,270. Okay, huge. For the veterans that are receiving that, age 34 and under, there's 613,577. Age 35 to 54, there's 1,754,770. The age 55 to 74 is 2,046,287. Age 75 and above, just over 1 million of you receiving compensation. There's also pension. Pension is $170 I'm going to round it, 174,000 veterans receiving pension, and it could be surviving spouses as well, but pension. Well, it says veterans on the rolls, so it's just veterans, I guess. 173,969 veterans receiving pension at $2,308,562,403 per year. Huge. Education, I'm going to skip. Insurance, I'm going to skip. Home loan guarantees, I'm going to skip. Veterans readiness and employment, I'm going to skip. I'm going to roll into each state right now, and I'm going to try to get through it as fast as I can. And I'm just going to tell you not how many veterans are in the state, but how many veterans are receiving compensation and what the annual amount is. Those two figures. How many veterans are receiving compensation, how many dollar figures that equates to on an annual basis for that specific state. So starting with Alabama, 100, and I'm going to round it. Okay, Alabama, 121,000 veterans receiving compensation at $2,723,223,000. Huge. That's Alabama. Next is Alaska, 22,000 veterans at $425 million. Arizona, 135,000 veterans at $2.6 billion per year. Arkansas, 58,000 veterans at $1.3 billion per year. California, one of the biggest states, or the biggest state for veterans and the biggest state, right? So 442,000 veterans at $9.154 billion per year because of us going into the state's ecosystem. Colorado, 121,000 veterans, $2.346 billion. Connecticut, 32,000 veterans, $556 million per year. Delaware, 16,000 veterans at $335 million per year. District of Columbia, 6,000 veterans at $117 million per year. Florida, 446,000 veterans at Florida is the third largest veteran population state. 446,000 veterans at $9.25 billion per year. Georgia, 233,000 veterans receiving compensation at $5 billion, $5.3 billion per year. Hawaii, 32,000 veterans receiving VA disability compensation at $640 million. Idaho, 39,000 veterans receiving compensation at $723 million. Illinois, 114,000 veterans receiving disability compensation benefits from the VA at $2.35 billion. Indiana, 101,000 veterans receiving VA compensation at $1.6 billion. Iowa, 46,000 veterans receiving $764 million per year. Kansas, 45,000 veterans receiving $901 million per year. Kentucky, 74,000 veterans receiving VA disability compensation benefits for $1.483 billion. Louisiana, 73,000 veterans receiving $1.595 billion per year in VA compensation. Maine, 31,000 veterans receiving $664 million per year. Maryland, 102,000 veterans receiving $2.143 million per year. Massachusetts, 70,000 veterans receiving $1.3 billion per year. Michigan, 122,000 veterans, $2.4 billion per year. Minnesota, 101,000 veterans receiving $1.4 billion per year. Mississippi, 53,000 veterans receiving $1.15 billion. $1.15 billion into Mississippi. Missouri, 108,000 veterans receiving $2.102 billion. Montana, 26,000 veterans receiving $502 million per year. Nebraska, 45,000 veterans receiving $713 million per year. Nevada, 67,000 veterans receiving $1.5 billion per year. New Hampshire, 24,000 veterans receiving $431 million per year. New Jersey, 63,000 veterans receiving VA disability compensation benefits at $1.3 billion per year. New Mexico, 42,000 veterans receiving $977 million per year. New York, 135,000 veterans receiving $2.743 billion per year. North Carolina, 240,000 veterans receiving $5.730 billion per year. North Dakota, 14,000 veterans at $247 million per year. Ohio, 161,000 veterans receiving $2.8 billion per year. Oklahoma, 107,000 veterans receiving disability compensation from the VA at $2.463 billion. Oregon, 80,000 veterans receiving $1.554 billion per year in disability compensation. VA disability compensation in Pennsylvania, 144,000 veterans receiving that benefit from the VA at $2.853 billion per year. Rhode Island, 14,000 veterans receiving $257 million per year. $257 million. South Carolina, 130,000 veterans receiving $2.986 billion, almost $3 billion per year into South Carolina in VA benefits being spent in that state. South Dakota, 20,000 veterans receiving $341 million per year. Tennessee, 143,000 veterans receiving just over $3 billion per year. Texas is the highest compensation rates paid than any other state. 569,000 veterans receiving VA benefits for disability compensation at $12.978 billion per year, almost $13 billion per year, driven into the state of Texas because of the veterans that are there, right? This is as of the fiscal year 2022. Utah, 37,000 veterans, $731 million. Vermont, 8,500 veterans, $166 million. Virginia, 230,000 veterans, $4.917 billion per year. Washington, 154,000 veterans, $2.934 billion per year. West Virginia, 38,000 veterans, $841 million per year into that state. Wisconsin, 83,000 veterans in the state of Wisconsin receiving VA disability compensation for a total of $1.461 billion per year. Wyoming, 14,000 veterans in the state of Wyoming receiving $255 million per year. Puerto Rico, 31,000 veterans receiving $835 million per year. Philippines, 5,214 veterans receiving $163 million per year. Other foreign is 35,000 veterans receiving 776,000. So the bottom line is really all the states, right? Because you really can't affect too much in the Philippines or Puerto Rico or what have you. Maybe Puerto Rico, I don't know. But the states, this is massive. The numbers are astronomical, right? Huge numbers coming into the state, and that's just part of it. You compound that with retirement money, you compound that with educational benefits that are being rolled in, you compound that with federal jobs that are being supplied in that state. Imagine if all the veterans in the state of wherever, right, California or Texas, left those states. You're talking about $10 billion, $12 billion, $13 billion evaporated from the state's ecosystem. You're talking about tons of jobs that would have been lost because of the veterans that are in those states. So that is why these states work hard to try to do stuff to keep you there, like you don't have to pay taxes on your car if you're 100%, free state park pass, free hunting passes, tax exemption on your house. These different types of things, they're trying to create magnets or anchors to keep you in those states. Don't be shy to ask for more if your state's not doing what they should be doing, because we as a collective, we wield a lot of power if you speak the right language. Okay, it's beyond doing the right thing. Okay, it's not just doing the right thing. There's dollar figures behind it, and here's a taste of the dollar figures that they're looking at. And you need to remind these lawmakers, these electeds, the dollar figures behind us, and stomp your foot a little bit. With that, we'll go ahead and end it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Have a great one, and remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.